Let me turn it down. Hey, you guys, it's your girl Berri with the I and not a Y, and you have now tuned in to the Riding with Berri Show. How are you?
I'm good.
Today I have a special guest, my mommy, my mother-in-law, my best friend, my Gemini twin. Yes, I am super excited. Let's make sure that you guys are going to be able to hear us. I am super excited today, you guys, because we got a lot of feedback from the fatherless man conversation. So today's topic will be mother of the fatherless son. I said it right. Did I say that?
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily like that title, but
well, we'll sauce it up. Let's see where we're going with the idea. But this is Cut Da Vinci's mother.
Hey.
And she has a lot to say in reference to, growing up without DJ's father not being in his life. So I just wanted her to kind of give the mother perspective, how it was and how she feels, how it was raising her son without the dad, and how she feels about her son and his feelings and his emotions. She had a whole lot to say after the first episode.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on the show because I was talking to my computer like straight through that.
I know, and when I called you, you was like, yeah. I was like, stop.
Yeah, I had
Stay for the show.
I had a lot to say.
Stay for the show. So I just, I really want her to tell her side, and just, clear up some things, because I know a lot of people out there had a lot of questions. I had questions myself that I wanted to know, that I kind of was asking Cut, but I don't think he really kind of understood where I was coming from or whatnot. So I'm super excited. I know this is gonna be a dope episode. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your sister, your brothers. It's going down.
Tell your mother-in-law.
Tell everybody it is going down. This is the Berri Show, the Riding with Berri Show, y'all. And I'm so super excited. I know this is going to be a good episode. So, how you feel? You good?
I'm good.
Do you need some air?
No, I'm good.
You good? You ready? Okay, let's go. So, we start off. Let the people know about you, who you are, what you do. They already know me.
Well, my name is Shay, and as Erica mentioned, I'm Cut's mom, or Dion.
Berri. I'm Berri.
Okay, Berri. Like I told Berri, my name is Shay. I'm Cut's mom. I've been here in Georgia for 15 years. And obviously I'm here. I'm the mother of the fatherless son. I actually had, I had 3 children. Rest in peace, JT.
Rest in peace, JT.
And when I had Dion and Jatan, I was younger. I was definitely younger. My 3rd child, Tanaya, I actually was married when I had her. However, she was raised as a fatherless child too. Things didn't work out with me and her dad either, which kind of brings to the point, one of the points I was making to you, is that the perspective is different, for one, when it's coming from a man versus a woman. Women tend to be more emotional when it comes to closure, when it comes to processing things. We come from an emotional standpoint, where for men it's much more black and white. And I felt like a lot of y'all discussion that you were having, you were kind of coming from, how did this affect you emotionally? Or do you think this is the reason that this happened to you? But coming from an emotional standpoint, and because a man doesn't process it that way, I think it was really hard for y'all to connect, seeing the situation the same way. I don't know that you were understanding where he was coming from, because you were thinking like, well, it's got to be an emotional response attached to it.
Right.
And like you were saying, as a youth, he was was a young man or a child, a male child, yes, they still have some emotional decision making in there, you know. But as they get older, they don't see things that way. But even outside of a woman and a man seeing things different, I really wanted to supply the perspective from a mother's perspective, because it kind of made me think of some things. You know, I felt like it was such a great topic. It was a topic that needed to be expanded on, and I felt like there are so many different perspectives, and it would be good to share some different perspectives.
Correct.
So, you know, with DJ, when I got pregnant with DJ, I was...
Hold on, wait a minute. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just had to say this. I want you to know that I look up to you. You are an excellent mom. I appreciate you being a part of my life and my kids' life. You did everything that you were, you know, taught to do as in raising your child. I don't feel like you failed them. And I really, really appreciate you being that mother figure in my life and, you know, showing me different alternatives and routes in raising my four. So, yes. But go ahead, I'm sorry, I just had to put it out there.
Okay. So, you know, it made me do some soul searching, and it really made me look at the situation a little bit different, and I wanted to provide some accountability.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to share some keys for the younger generation out here who probably can relate to where I was at that time, but show you how 30 years later the outcome of that. Because when we have kids, we teach our kids, when you make your bed hard, you have to lay in it.
Correct.
Okay. Well, me having fatherless children was an example of me making my bed hard and having to lay in it. And I think that at the time that I made those decisions, I made them, again, because women are different, I made them emotionally. Okay. When I got pregnant with DJ, I was 19 years old. My mom and my stepdad, you know, they react, oh, you stupid, you need to do this, you need to do that, you know, you just finished school, you need to go to college and do something with your life. And my response, I already had made the emotional decision that I was going to have my baby and that it was going to be my baby. So I already set myself up, I think, before it even started, to be a single parent. I already made an emotional attachment to my child who was grown in my womb. And I already told myself, regardless of if the father is going to be there or not, it's still going to be my baby. And I know that there's a lot of young ladies who, when you find yourself in that situation, you know, that's what we go to. We're like, oh, well, I'm a strong woman and I can do this and I can raise my kid by myself and I don't need a man and I don't need the daddy. But you do. Yeah. You do. Because when you don't, that's why we have these topics about men growing up without a father. I didn't think that far ahead. I just thought that I got enough love in me to make everything all right.
That you would be able
I got
to
enough ambition in me to make sure that I could provide. But a woman can never be a dad. You could be the best mom in the world. True. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times women, you know, we make these decisions already going into it, knowing that we might raise these kids alone. We have to make better choices as women. We have to look further into the future and realize the ramifications of us making those decisions to, oh, well, I'm going to be that strong woman and I'm going to raise my baby and my baby's going to be this and that and he's going to be so. But you know what? You have to take responsibility. I can't, regardless of what shortcomings their dad had, I laid with him. I chose to lay with him. Yeah. So there's some accountability on my side. I have to take some responsibility for my decision. So do you feel, wait a minute, let's kind of back up. How was it, like, how was y'all relationship? Dion, that's his name. I was young. Okay. I was 19 years old. And when you're 19 years old, you swear you know everything. You swear you're ready for life. You know, his mom seemed very encouraging of our relationship, and that made me feel good. How long were y'all together? You know, I met Dion. I moved to Florida in 1990. It was my senior year in high school. It was the end of my senior year in high school. And I was in a new state that was totally different from where I had been born and bred. And I think I was lonely. I was seeking friendship. I was seeking friends. I just wanted to settle in and fit in. And I was homesick for, from my old life. And I met him in school. I was in my senior year. I met him in school. And, we started dating. And again, you're in a new city. You meet a dude. He was funny. He was charming. He wasn't the most attractive in the world. But, that wasn't what I was, that wasn't what I was looking for. He was just a friend. And so I had moved to Florida in April of my senior year. I was pregnant with DJ, I believe that July. So I graduated in June. I got pregnant that summer.
Oh, wow.
And again, we hadn't been together long. It wasn't like I knew enough about him to say, oh, this is the man I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. But my mindset at that time was, I'm going to have this baby and he's going to be mine. So he's going to fill a void in my life. And I guess I was selfish. I didn't think about what it was going to be like for him growing up with a vacuum, with a hole, with a void in his life. I thought that my love and my effort and my ambition would fill that void, and I would just be that much of a better mother that it would make the difference. But I urge young ladies to make better decisions. And when you don't make better decisions, don't place all the blame on that man, because you chose that man. You lay with that man. So you have some responsibility for the outcome. I have some responsibility. He wasn't the best, but I chose him. I know better now.
So when you found out that you was pregnant and you told him, what was his reaction?
He was happy. He was happy. His mom was happy. My family was like, no. But he was like, yeah,
So at that point of time, you thought that did you think that he was gonna step up?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the way my mom raised me, I knew that I was not gonna have a baby in her house. So if again, you make your bed hard, you lay in it. If I'm grown enough to make the decision that I'm ready to be a mom, I need to put my money where my mouth is. So while I was pregnant, I saved my money, I worked, I got an apartment, I got a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
The job that I worked for at the time was very, very supportive. They threw me an awesome baby shower. I had my crib, my layette, my changing table, everything I needed for DJ when he was born. Dion's mother was like, oh, well, you're a young girl, you're staying by yourself. And
so he wasn't even there?
Wait, listen, honey.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
She was like, oh, you're a young girl, you're staying by yourself, it's not safe. Dion need to move in with you for protection. So Dion moved in with me. Dion was young as well. Oh, we blocking traffic, girl. Dion was young as well. So he was supposed to be protection. But he was draining, because I worked up until the day I went to labor. Dion did not work at that time.
So you were supporting him?
Yes. Okay.
All the bills?
Yes.
Going to the doctor? Was he at the doctor's appointments? Was he...
Yeah, I don't know if we did it back now the things have changed now. Men go to baby showers.
All of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall. It's been 30 years, so I don't know. But I don't think so. But he was supportive. He was there emotionally. But financially, he was not. But again, I was little miss, I'm going to handle this, because I had a point to prove. Again, my family was like, you're stupid. So I had a point to prove that I wasn't going to need to ask for anyone's help, and that I had to make the best of my situation and make it work. Well, I worked up until the day I went into labor. Once I went into labor, obviously, they're like, girlfriend, you better come back in 6 weeks with that doctor's note. Okay, well, Dion was sick when he was born. DJ was sick when he was born. He had to have surgery at 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, he had something called pyloric stenosis. His stomach muscle didn't have an opening. And he had what was called projectile regurgitation. I became a medical expert during this, because this was my first baby and I was young. And as I'm running back and forth to the doctor, I'm feeling like it's something I did wrong. It's some failure on my side. Maybe I'm not washing his bottles good. Maybe I'm not ready. I think I'm ready. I think I'm grown, but maybe I'm not. But turned out he was born with it. He had surgery. But I think that's when things really started to go south with me and Dion, because I doubt I was expecting him at those prenatal visits and things like that. But now we've got a newborn who's in the hospital. I've been running back and forth to emergency rooms. I'm stressed out about the health of my child. And his brother, this was during Desert Storm. His brother was in the military and had just been released from coming fighting overseas. And his priority was, oh, my brother's home from the Navy. I'm gonna go hang out with my brother. And my mom sat up at that hospital with me. So that's when me and my mom became best friends. And that was the beginning of the end for Dion, because it told me his priorities are not lined up the way my priorities are lined up. And I started seeing things a lot differently. Okay, but we still, you know, we kind of kept pushing. I really, at that point, I started trying to break up with him, but emotionally, he did not want to let go, and I was a sucker for a tear. So, you know, if it wasn't easy, like, I don't want to be with you anymore, okay, let's shake hands. If it wasn't like that, then it was easy to convince me to give it another try, because we did have a newborn baby, and I hoped, but I saw then that our priorities were not in line. And then, you know, financially, our priorities were not in line. So I think I saw early on that was, he would pull me down if I stayed with him. I had to make the decision for me and what I felt like was best for my child financially, and also for my mental health, to go ahead and just move on.
Wow. So when did y'all officially, like, call things off? Like, when did he leave out of y'all picture?
That's funny, because okay, so Dion mentioned cut. He got too many names. He's DJ to me.
You know, he hate to be called Dion.
No, he's DJ to me. But I had lost my job, and I didn't want to stay in the apartment that me and Dion shared, because I wanted to get rid of him, and I couldn't get rid of him. So when I lost my job, I was like, well, I'm going to go back and stay with my mom. So he had to go and stay with his mom.
Okay.
And his mom was about to move to Georgia. So he had to move to Georgia.
Okay.
So he wound up taking DJ with him. They all moved up to Georgia. It was some things DJ left out, like the fact that
tell it
I don't
now.
know if it's that he left it out or if he just didn't do math.
Yeah,
but
he
when
probably...
he was talking about the age difference between his brothers and sisters. Okay, so when Dion came up here and lived in Georgia, I was still in Florida. We were still together, but I was still trying to break up with him, At that point, Dion had met Dre's mom here. And they had a look. She was DJ's babysitter, and they started kicking it and talking it. So there's not even a year between Dre and Jatan. They're some months apart,
right? Because
me and Dre's mom were pregnant at the same time. Because he was up here and she was up here and I was in Florida.
Oh, that was with Jatan. So you was pregnant with Jatan while she was pregnant with...
Well, I was pregnant with Jatan first. Jatan was some months older than Dre, but not that much. What happened was they were up here.
So y'all still getting it in.
Wait, no, just listen. Again, he lived up here. And I'm trying to break up with him. And I wrote him a Dear John letter. Because I knew that he was going to be coming to bring DJ home. By now, I had got back. DJ wasn't even here a year. It was like maybe 9 months or something like that. And I knew he was coming to bring DJ back. And I had been trying to break up with him long distance. So I was like, I need to go ahead and cut the cord. You know, I had that freedom because he was in another state. But emotionally, I needed to cut the cord. I wrote him a Dear John letter for him to read before they left. So that when he got here to drop off DJ, it wouldn't be no, we still together. But he left before the letter arrived. So when he got in town, some mutual friends of ours who also knew how I was feeling and that I had sent the letter thought he had received it. So they're like, oh, how you doing? You all right? You got the letter? He's like, what letter? I don't know what you're talking about. So he came to pick me up from work. He asked what the letter was about. We talked about it. He again was still emotional at the time. We had breakup sex. That's how Jatan was conceived. He went back to Georgia. I guess that's when he official got with Dre's mom. Like, okay, I'm free now. I'm now pregnant with Jatan in Florida. Now, then they moved back to Florida. And like I say, he came to the hospital when Jatan was born. I guess he was kind of side-eyeing the situation. You know, I mean, I get, you know, breakup sex. So I mean, like, I'm all the way in Georgia. How you pregnant by me? But no, boo, I don't lie on that. Yeah, I know what happens with that. I take care of that. So, so they came to the hospital. They looking at Jatan. Like, he don't look like DJ. They're not twins. You know, and then at that time, Dre's mom snuck from Georgia to Florida because they had to move back. So they still trying to work out their relationship. Then come to find out she was pregnant. So yeah, but there's not a year between. He was dating both of us. But you know, I don't care about that because first of all, me and her cool as hell. You know, like DJ said, for the brothers and sisters, they all sought each other out. I'm really going to give Jamila props for that. Jamila was the ringleader. That's his firstborn. That's their older sister. She was the ringleader in making sure that she located and communicated with her brothers and sisters. And she really was the one behind tracking them down, making the contacts, and getting them all to the point where they are now. That, you know, even though their dad wasn't in none of their lives, he got a lot of offspring. It's important that they know each other.
Right.
You might be dating your sister if you don't know.
Right.
You know, and that's the other thing about fatherless men, you know, is unfortunately and not just men, period. Whether you're male or female, you could be dating your brother or sister. You know, you gotta have these conversations. You gotta at least, you don't want to wind up on paternity court 30 years later, having 5 different people take a DNA test because you don't know who your baby daddy is, and meanwhile they dating their sister.
Right.
So
let me ask you this. As a mother, how do you feel, you know, towards that situation with him not being a part of your kid's life? Well, you'll be speaking for
me, I did what I had to do for my kids.
So it didn't.
DJ said something about, I'm getting child support now. No, that was one child support check. Okay? I don't get child support. I hustled and took care of my kids.
Well, he said you were getting child support now.
No, I'm not.
Or you got it last year or something like that for the first time.
It was, you know, we ain't even gonna get into that. No, I raised my children without child support. You see, we live high.
Oh yeah, y'all live fabulous.
I work hard.
Y'all live fabulous.
You know, but you can provide for them financially. You still can't fill that void, and that's what I want to urge people to recognize when we as women make these decisions. I hear so many women, I don't need a man. If you say you don't need a man, it's because you never had a real man. Because you do. We do. We need each other. When God put us on this earth, he coupled up in Noah's Ark, he coupled up all the animals and everything. You're supposed to have a mate. That is the way it was intended. You know, if you don't have the right mate, don't let that poison you to, I don't need. You need. Your life will be more full. It is better for a child to grow up in a household with both a mom and dad.
True.
It is better for a child to be in their mom's life and their dad's life, regardless of whether or not the mom and the dad make it. That shouldn't have nothing to do with it. But we as adults, we put too much personal stuff and we don't look at the big picture. The big picture is the child is the one that suffers.
That's a question that I asked
I never kept him away.
Well, that's the question that I asked DJ.
Yeah.
Do he feel that you guys' relationship is the reason as to why he wasn't?
That man wasn't in none of his kids' life. He got about 4-5 baby mamas. No. Now I do think that there are some men that will take care of their children as long as they're with the mom. It's a package deal.
True.
We as women need to do more research. We need to do our homework. We need to slow down. We need to close our legs. We need to use some birth control. We need to do what we need to do so that we make better decisions. Be careful who you have your kids from.
But look, you really don't know. Like, if you're in a relationship with a guy and he's bedazzling you and making you feel good and this and the third, Like, you don't really
you see
know
what you want to
until
see. You see what there's signs. There's signs. There were signs. Looking back now, I know there were signs.
Because I know I ain't gonna say I made a messed up decision with picking my who I chose to sleep with or whatever the case may be, but I feel that I could have done, a little bit better with some of the choices and decisions that I did.
Do he have other children?
Yes. And
how was he in their life? Because we need to look at that.
Yes,
if you with a man who don't take care of his current
and I was young, and I was young.
That was my sign.
I was young. I was naive, and I'm like, okay, and
and see, that's it. You admit
I was.
We make decisions when we're young and naive, and that's what I want. I hope that there's some 18-year-old, some 19-year-old, some 20-year-old that's watching this video that it really rings true with, that I can help, I can save them from making that decision.
Yes.
It's not for you to do alone. That's not how it was intended.
Right.
Stop being so pro me that you not really thinking about the long-term effect it's going to have on your child.
Exactly.
Because that's a void that you'll never be able to fill.
So do you, I know DJ was saying, a little bit like he don't feel that, I guess, emotionally wise now. But do you feel that by his father not being there, he made some of those decisions that he made coming up because he didn't have a father, or he was acting out?
I think that when it comes to a woman raising a man, they get to a certain age where they start feeling themselves. We don't have enough bass in our voice. We don't have enough authority because we're nurturers and they know how to work us, that they make some wayward decisions, and even if you teach them all the right things, you don't put enough fear in them
like a man would.
That a man would. Now I know some people that have turned out, and they had a woman and a man in the house. So I'm not saying that that's a guarantee to success, but I'm saying that if you don't think of nothing else, just think 30 years, not even 30, think 15 years down the line when your child is a teen and they have a void in their life that there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can buy, there's nothing you can say. You can't be their dad. You can't.
Do you, at that age, were you trying, when he was, I guess like 15, 16 or whatnot, were you trying to still reach out to him?
No.
Just cut it all like it is?
Well, it's like this. I stayed in Florida until Dion was like 15. He was 15 when I left Florida. There was never any reason that Dion could not reach us if he chose to do so. I wasn't in hiding. We had mutual friends that he would bump into, and at any time, and if he did connect with me, I wasn't like,
that door was open for you,
not for me and him.
Well, not for you and him, but for the
son.
Exactly. If
I wasn't going to chase him down and force him, but I was not going to block him either.
Right.
And I did not put him down in front of my children, at least not intentionally. Now, if I'm hanging with my girlfriends and I done had a drink or two, and I get to talking and they hear something, but I did not ever intentionally put that man down, because it was always their decision. If you want a relationship with your dad, I support that. If you come to me and you say, Mom, can you go find my dad? We're going to hop in the car. I'll take away my pride for you. But I was not going to force somebody to be something they wanted to be. In my mind, it was just, I'm going to have to be better. I'm going to have to be that much more of a mom. But I see now that I could have been 150% mom. It don't make me 50% dad. I cannot be a dad.
So when they officially, I guess, met when he was 18 at the funeral?
That when they officially met. I mean, like I said, he stayed with him when he was a kid.
Well, I
and
guess
then he stayed with him at another time when he was about 3 or 4, for a couple of months. Yeah, but other than that, and then when he came down for Jaton's funeral, I welcomed him and his mom into my home. There was no beef. There was no consternation. There was no, oh, how you don't even have a right to be here.
Right.
Even though I kind of felt like that,
right,
but
right.
that's not the time.
Right.
For that. I didn't bring up nothing from the past. I just welcomed him into my home, and I allowed him to grieve because we both lost a child.
Right. Exactly.
You know. So I never put anything in there that would make him say, oh, I'm not going to try because of that crazy lady. Like what Cut was trying to tell you, that's just his personality.
Wow.
There are some people, it's just who they are.
Right.
And that's why women, do your research. Get to know a man. You know, to me, I didn't care because I felt like my baby was going to be my baby. I knowingly went into it like, well, if he did, fine, and if he not, I don't care. I'm still gonna have a baby.
Right.
It's not cool though.
It's not.
You know.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And I did the best I could. You know.
You
and
did.
I mean,
you did a damn good job.
Yeah. You know. But that's one thing that I cannot give him, and I cannot be. And it's the same with Tanaya. I know Tanaya went through an empty feeling, and she had a very similar situation. She got about 15, and I sent her to Florida to my sister's house so she could take her to go spend some time with her dad, and she did that, and it was kind of almost the same as with Dion. They spent some time together.
So it's the Florida man?
Girl.
Is it the Florida man?
You better watch out because your man from Florida.
Is it the Florida man? Are y'all not any good? And they're like, what's going on? I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say they ain't any good. You know, I mean, everybody's not meant to be a parent.
True.
And that's why you got to do your research.
True.
That's why you got to slow down. That's why you got to be sure not only that you're ready. Now, with Tanaya, I thought I was doing things right at the time. I was married. I had married him. And I felt like, oh, now I'm going to do it right this time, and I'm going to have a baby with my husband. But still, we got married too soon for the wrong reasons. I wasn't pregnant at the time, but I mean, I'm just saying, I got married because everybody around me was getting married, and I felt left out. I was hitting 30, and I was like, I need to be married because my friends' husbands ain't gonna want them hanging with me. I'm the single girl. You know, everybody else got a man. They gonna be like, oh no, you're not hanging with her. She gonna have you around other men, and she, you know. So I'm like, I better get married.
So, on this day, what are your feelings as far as, you know, how do you feel about the whole situation now that the fathers at their age, Tanaya is 19, you know, DJ is 29, and they're still not here? Do you have any feelings, emotions towards the situation?
I'm not gonna let them take my peace like that. I'm grounded in, you know, they're not gonna steal my joy. I've already done it. My kids are grown now.
Right.
I ain't quite empty nester, but I'm like, I got a grown kid in the house that she can buy her own grocery, her own laundry detergent. I don't gotta come home and cook. The only person I still have to take care of is a dog that's not even mine. You know what I'm saying? But
I know.
Why? I don't hold on to bitterness. I don't hold on to anger. That's counterproductive. It steals your peace, and the person who you mad at, they don't even know. They wake up and go to bed good every night. So why should I lose sleep?
Right.
You know. So nah. I even as they were coming up, I did what I had to do.
Right.
I'm gonna work regardless. I'm gonna take care of mine regardless. I want to live good regardless. If I got to do it alone, I'm good with that. You know, I just spent 10 years single. Good with that. Nah, I'm straight. I don't need. I'm not saying I didn't need a man, but we all have a time in our life where we really just want to focus on us. I want to focus on us, and as the mother of a daughter that was coming up, it was very important to me that she didn't have Uncle Tom, Uncle Dick, and Uncle Larry. I'm not finna be just random dating, bringing different dudes home and setting a bad example for my daughter.
Understandable.
So I stayed single until she was 17 years old.
Oh wow.
You know, like, okay, now you old enough that mama could like start. I really was gonna wait till she graduated. You became family a little early, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so
do you think that DJ still kind of bottled emotions with it?
See,
so
you
how
still
he
keep hanging on that emotion.
Because with him,
Berri, women are emotional.
I know, but still, like, I feel that, I mean, deep down inside, you know, you still it can be at the bottom of your stomach, you still have some type of hurt or feeling of neglect, or
he told you no. And I'm gonna speak for him and tell you no. Even me myself, it's done and it's dealt with. It's over. Like, I didn't raise him to harbor.
Yeah.
He takes things from the example I set. And we not gonna let nobody steal our joy like that. If we living, we healthy, we got our health. It's COVID-19. Thank God we healthy. Roof over our head. Everything taken care of. Food in our belly. We ain't run, lights off a month at a time, no water. I mean, mama took care of business. And I ain't cry about it because, again, when I made that first decision at 19, that decision it wasn't a temporary decision. I had to ride on that till I did my job, till it was done. A woman, I ain't gonna say a woman can't walk away, because I understand that there are motherless children as well as fatherless children, and we got to make sure that we shine some light on that. It's not just a man thing.
Well,
it's a person thing. Everyone is not meant to be a parent.
Guess what? I ain't even gonna lie. Dion Henderson, if you're out there and if you're watching this show, if any of his family members, please, I would like to talk to you. And I would not bash you. Like, you need to, like, we have some questions.
What's your perspective?
Like, what happened? Like, why did you leave? Like, what's going on? Like, Berri, I want you to come to the show. Like, you got to clear your name, bro.
Some people never had it in their life, so they don't have it to give.
They don't know.
Some people go the other way, and because they never had it in their life, they double down. And they like, like when you were talking about how you wanted to be for your kids because of what you didn't have. Some people double down, and some people just never had an example and don't know. There's people that don't know how to show love. There's people that don't know how to receive love.
Right. So was his father in his life?
No. So it's a cycle.
That's why it's a cycle. We gotta break that cycle, you guys.
Break that cycle, and we gotta
definitely
make
have to
better
break that
decisions.
Cycle.
We have to make non-emotional decisions. My decision was emotional.
Right.
To have him.
Right.
I wasn't scared. I wasn't emotionally. I was in. Like I was just getting me a new puppy or a baby doll or some kind of toy. But the thing is that this is a toy that lasts forever. And I never considered back then what it would be like for the child growing up parentless.
So we gotta wrap this session on up. Interesting conversation. Do you have any final words for the men out there? Do you have any final words for the men out there that are being raised without their fathers in the household?
Forgive. Because holding on to anger, hurt, bitterness, it keeps you bound. And you have to, you talked about closure in your video. Nobody owes you closure. You could get your own closure within. It's not somebody else's job to provide your closure. Get your own closure by forgiving. So you can be free. So you're not bound in hate, in anger, in hurt, in disappointment. So that you can sleep good at night. Forgive.
Do you have any final words for the women out there that are raising these kids by themselves?
Recognize. Do some self-accountability. If you're in a situation where maybe the dad want to be involved, but maybe you beefing a little bit because of what he not doing, your kids are the one that's hurting. Be mature. Put on your big girl panties.
Yeah.
Even if he's not there financially, if he is able to be there emotionally or mentally for those kids, allow that. I know a lot of women that's like, oh, he ain't paying child support, he ain't seeing his kids. Don't do that. The kids suffer. You'll never feel that void in their life. You can never be their dad. You can be the best mom in the world, but you can never be their dad. And if you're not already in that situation, but you're dating somebody or you just want a baby and you don't necessarily care who the baby daddy is, you just want a baby, just realize that kids benefit from having a two-parent household. They benefit. It's for the best. When you make your decisions, don't make them selfish decisions. My decision was selfish. I made it 3 times. And, you know, the 3rd time I thought I was doing it right. But, yeah, looking back, nah. I should have.
Well, again, like I say, Sanaya, I love her to death. She's an excellent young girl. That's my baby sister, you know. I claim her and you, like, you know, we family, like, y'all are, that's my sister, you know what I'm saying? You my mother. And, you know, you have done an excellent job with raising your kids. You know, I mean, if I didn't know y'all, I would have really thought that they came from a 2-parent home. You know, so you did an excellent job with raising your kids. I commend you for that, and I have a lot of respect for you.
Thank you.
So, that is our time, you guys. It was deep. It was very educational. I hope that we were able to clear up some of the questions that you guys wanted to ask or wanted to know.
And drop something in the comments. We want to know. We want your feedback. You know, what was your experience? How do you feel about it? Because, you know, I feel like this is a subject that touched so many households in our, you know, from so many different perspectives. I know everybody's perspective is different. So we want to hear. We want to hear your experience, your perspective.
And we also want to know, how do you feel that we are handling the situation? You know, let us know, you know, your thought process on not trying to put their business out there. And I'm very honored that they were welcoming and came to the show to, you know, tell their story. You know, most people aren't, you know, able to really do that. So I really appreciate you and Cut both for coming on the show and telling you guys his story or whatnot. So I really, really appreciate that.
And we ain't trying to bash nobody. So Henderson family, if y'all are listening,
if y'all feel
nothing but 100% facts told, but you know, you more than welcome.
Y'all more than welcome to
come in the comments.
Y'all can come on the show. Like, I am welcoming.
They're not flying down here.
I'll fly them down here. They need to clear their name.
Big money say.
I will fly you guys down here. Y'all need to tell, like, speak up. Like, what's going on? Like, we want to know. We're not being judgmental. We're not gonna be looking at you any type of way. I mean, you know, there's 5 different sides to a story.
Exactly.
So, I mean, everybody has their truth, though. You know, it is what it is. But make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe,
tell a friend.
Like, let's talk about it. Let's put it out there in the open. Let's deal with the situation as a whole and as a Black community. That's for one. Like, a lot of Black families, you know, it's a situation that goes on in the Black community, you know.
And I think we're so accepting of it. You know, it's become so much of a reality. Like, it's no big deal. But we need to do better.
We gotta do better.
We need to rebuild the foundation of the family in the Black community. We need it to be the expectation. We need it to be not so common that women are out here raising fatherless kids. Facts.
There it is, you guys. We cleared the air. Thank you again, Mommy, for being on the show. You guys, again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tweet, tell your friend, tell your neighbor, tell your auntie, your uncles, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers. The Riding with Berri Show. It's the truthful show. That's all it is. We're very open and honest, you guys. But thank you guys for watching. I love you. Peace.